thank you for stopping in at Nine Chronicles. And I just wanted to weigh in a little bit on the winter solstice because obviously this time of year everyone starts like, oh, this is the season, Jesus is the season, or whoever is the season, and then people will quickly argue that you're actually following some pagan holiday and that it was Mithra's birthday and then it was Herod's birthday, and there's all these attempts to claim the reason for our winter celebration. When the reality is that the winter solstice is the reason for the season, and it is a global phenomenon that occurs twice a year. It's essentially when the poles are tilted the furthest away from the sun. So it happens once for the northern hemisphere, it happens again for the southern hemisphere. The counter to that is, of course, the summer solstice, which is the exact opposite, where your pole is pointed as close to the sun as possible. So the phenomenon that occurred is that this global phenomenon happens. It affects almost every part of a human, culture or society in terms of what we eat, where our sickness is. We get a drop in the level of sunlight, right, that we get. We hunker in. In some cultures, they would slaughter animals, right, because they didn't want to feed them through the winter. So everything changed, and it was like obviously preparation for our calendar new year, which would come soon. So we have all these events because we also celebrate in spring, right? So the dead of winter, right? And then come spring, we're having renewal celebrations like Easter, right? So all these events are actually tied around our relationship to the planet and our solar system. So they're a lot bigger than it was this person's birthday. That stuff is all, I get it, but everybody wants to claim the reason why when it's the planet and the solar system that really need to get the real credit for that, right? We celebrate because we're entering significantly different chapters in the year, and it's normal for humans to want to celebrate. Can you imagine what life would be like if we didn't have 3 or 4 really good celebratory times during the year, right? We need to celebrate. We celebrate, that we just have the harvest, like going into the winter solstice, right? That time prior, we're harvesting, right? And we see like that's why you've got pumpkins around October, right? It's the fall, and you start to see all those fruits. You see when when Christmas gets, I just done a video talking about the foods that we ate. Remember little Christmas bags that we get as kids that had nuts and oranges and apples, all these things that were just being harvested. So then we celebrate again in the spring. Obviously, this is renewal, and now we're starting to get back into the everything coming back alive. We celebrate in the summer, right? We know about like spring break. All these things are spring break and summer vacations are all tied into our relationship with the planet. So it's a little scary that knowledgeable people tend to ignore all that stuff so they could say, oh, we're celebrating this person's birthday or we're celebrating this person's birthday, when all over the globe almost every culture had some type of celebrations that they did for the winter solstice, the summer solstice, and obviously spring and fall. So these are natural occurrences that are not tied. Religion tied itself to these concepts, not the other way around. And no matter what, if you're celebrating Mithra's birthday or you're celebrating Jesus' birthday, you're not actually celebrating. I mean, sure, you can, but this is actually why the winter, and even without any of those figures ever existing, the winter solstice would still exist. We would still do the same type of celebration. Things would be different. How we would celebrate would be different. Like, for instance, I feel like I celebrate Christmas, or I use the term Christmas. I don't have any Santa Claus in my house. Santa Claus is a Germanic lore, right? So I'm not Germanic. I have a different culture. Even though we steal some things, we did have a Christmas tree because my wife loves to have a Christmas tree up, right? So, but again, this is normal behavior for humans. We work, we take breaks, we take vacations. It's our natural rhythm with the planet. So I just wanted to give my thoughts on winter solstice.